From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Evan Moon.
And I'm Nicolette Perdomo. Here are the top stories tonight. UF students writing letters to Congress voicing their opinion about DACA.
And FSU suspends all Greek life activities after an alcohol-related death on campus. That FSU case and the reaction here at UF is our top story tonight. I'm Evan Moon.
And I'm Nicolette Perdomo. WUFT's Mary Grace Scully joins us with the story of UF's own soul searching when it comes to a campus drinking related.
Well, UF has seen its share of tragic losses too. During the tenure of the last president, events forced UF to rethink how it could get the right mix of deterrence, punishment, and amnesty for calling 911. Getting the campus community to work together was an urgent problem for past President Bernie Mackin.
When I came in 2004, within a period of 1 year, we had over 6 alcohol-related deaths of students. And they're not nested just in the Greek community.
Bernie Mackin was president of UF from 2004 to 2014. His main initiative? To fight
binge drinking. That's drinking to the point where you can kill yourself from having too much alcohol ingested in a short period of time.
Machin says the drinking culture is very different today from when he was an undergrad at Vanderbilt University.
I think the problem that they're dealing with at FSU is different than the problem we dealt with. They have a specific Greek life problem. We felt that our problem was a campus-wide cultural problem that included the city and included the high schools. And it wasn't just the Greeks were a part of it, but they weren't the source of the problem.
To promote alcohol awareness, Machin formed the Community Alcohol Coalition in 2011.
We brought students, faculty, police. We brought the public schools involved.
UF spokesperson Janine Sykes says the coalition and UF's medical amnesty policy have contributed to a safer campus.
We're pleased with how it's been working here. We're not saying that our work is done. We get a new set of students every fall. And so we have to continue with our education and our conversations and work really hard together as a community to keep our students safe.
UF leadership, past and present, sends condolences to the FSU community as they mourn the loss of a fraternity brother and student.
And there's always a search for new ideas that might make a difference. Janine Sykes told me the Community Alcohol Coalition will meet again on November 30th in Emerson Alumni Hall. All are welcome to attend.
In breaking news, a former MLB All-Star is dead after a small plane crashed north of Tampa in the Gulf of Mexico. As a star pitcher for the Blue Jays and Phillies, Roy Halladay was an 8-time All-Star, and he twice won the C.Y. Young Award. In retirement, the amateur pilot often tweeted about learning to fly. He reportedly bought this amphibious plane just last month. There's no word yet about what caused the crash.
And today, Alachua County Commissioners heard a presentation about pre-arrest diversion programs. WUFT's Jordan McCool joins us live from the newsroom with what more we could tell from the local criminal justice system.
In many places, minor drug offenses can earn you a stop in jail, and punishments may never solve dependency. But with diversion, instead of going to jail for a minor crime, individuals could be placed in different treatment programs based on their individual needs.
The county is starting to discuss implementing pre-arrest diversion plans.
There's an opportunity because of the grants, like for example that the city just received and some training they just went to look at options to reduce arrest, which then obviously reduce incarceration at the jail, saves money.
This alternative would typically be for low-level misdemeanor charges, but also could implement a behavioral and health focus.
Obviously you're working with individuals to keep them from penetrating further into the system. So if somebody needs treatment, you get them to treatment. It's not a net widening to get everybody to treatment. If you're just stealing a pack of gum, for example, that's a low-level charge that can be handled through a pre-arrest diversion program without getting anybody treatment.
There are already pre-existing post-arrest intervention plans. Just yesterday, 2 suspended UF football players appeared in court after 9 of the players were accused of making purchases with stolen credit cards in September. Prosecutors granted both of them pretrial intervention agreements. The state attorney is also talking about a civil citation program, which would likely mean fines for certain misdemeanor charges. But some wanted to focus more on individual needs.
Our go-to solution for individuals who have issues, mental health issues, behavioral issues, is to arrest them. Our go-to solution is a criminal justice system.
Multiple local government offices said today they're continuing to research to determine what it would cost, but the county commissioners were hopeful for a collaborative effort.
The county would like to continue the discussion about these programs as well as hear from the city of Gainesville, the state attorney, and the sheriff's office. Jordan McCool, WUFT News.
A North Central Florida caretaker accused of stealing more than $14,000 is being held in the Alachua County Jail. Carmen Michelle Walker works as a certified nursing assistant through Granny Nannies, a private service assisting senior citizens with home care. According to officials, Walker used the victim's debit card for personal use. She's being charged with grand theft and fraud. Her bail is set at $25,000. While it felt hotter today, it seems like we've lost some of our cooler temperatures lately.
WUFT's Lee Southwick joins us now from the Weather Center. Lee, is this kind of heat normal for this time of year?
Our average for this time of year is 76 degrees, our high temperature for the day. And right now it is 85 degrees in Gainesville, 85 in Lake City and Ocala as well. So we are almost 10 degrees above average right now. So no, this is much warmer and it's going to stay warm through tomorrow as well. In fact, for hour by hour tonight, not even reaching the 50s, we're going to dip down to the low 60s. Also, patchy fog is possible in the morning. So if you're heading out to work between the hours of 6 and 8 a.m. and you're going to be driving anywhere in this yellow shaded area, make sure to leave a few minutes early. Give yourself some extra time on the roadways because some driving conditions could be dangerous due to this patchy fog tomorrow. And then tomorrow we're going to reach near record highs. Our high tomorrow, 85 degrees in Gainesville, and our record high is 86 like back in 2003. So we might reach a record tomorrow. Back to you.
Thanks, Lee. Consumer sentiment in Florida is expected to increase this holiday season following a 3-month decline. Although sentiment has declined recently, experts are not worried. A continuous decrease could signal the start of an economic downturn. That's not expected, though. Retailers are expected to cash in this holiday season, but results from surveys taken in November will help determine what the rest of the holiday season will look like. 2 months ago, the Trump administration decided to put an end to DACA unless Congress authorizes the break for undocumented immigrants who arrive as children.
The decision now in the hands of Congress, leaving University of Florida students to voice their own opinions. WUFT's Jenna Cisneros joins us live from the newsroom. Jenna, how are UF students planning to make their voices heard?
Nicolette, UF students are writing letters hoping to amplify the voices of the nation's 700,000 DACA recipients. The letters are to Congress, some pre-written and some a little more personal.
A free cookie. It's taking a stand. UF students came together this afternoon to help people impacted by changes to DACA, which will soon end unless Congress authorizes the program. It starts by writing a simple letter.
It's kind of to just point out the fact that, like, even though DACA ended, we're still trying to push for a solution, like a permanent solution for undocumented youth.
The goal today is to get over 200 letters. Some students filled out the bare minimum pre-written letters where they just have to sign their name.
If you don't really know what to say, there's already something written in there for you. You just have to put your name and what member of Congress you're contacting.
Others decided to have their own voice heard.
I wrote this handwritten message because it affects my sister and it affects family members.
Naomi Reyes wants senators to realize there are real people behind the letters.
Every person deserves an opportunity to pursue their dreams. I ask you to provide dreamers with this opportunity. So give dreamers the opportunity they deserve in the only home they've ever known.
Today, nearly 90 letters were collected on the University of Florida campus. One of the organizers and DACA recipient, Mariana Castro, tells me she's traveling to Washington, D.C. tomorrow to make sure the letters get in the right hands. Live from the newsroom, Jenna Cisneros, WUFT News.
Coming up on WUFT News First at 5, more hotels in Gainesville where they are being built coming up.
Plus, President Trump makes his second stop in Asia, the focus on North Korea. We'll tell you what he has to say.
And temperatures are much warmer than normal. Tomorrow, we may see near record heat. Coming up, I'll let you know if we have a cool down coming anytime soon.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. Although football season is wrapping up, the truth is those fall weekends are not the only time Gainesville hotels see a surge in business.
Insiders say the spring brings a lot longer stretch of demand, from snowbirds and spring breaks to conferences and commencements. But the business dynamic is about to change, with the college town seeing major construction and another wave of new hotels. WUFT's Kara Spirito joins us with more.
Gainesville area hotels enjoyed an unexpected boost last month, a 10% jump in occupancy thanks to hurricane evacuations. The future challenge will be to fill rooms on a regular basis, with more hotels opening next year. Developers are counting on Gainesville becoming better known as a place to visit.
The sound of construction around Gainesville includes this new hotel building for Celebration Point. It's one of several new Gainesville hotels expected to open next year, increasing overall capacity by 25%. Celebration Point will end up with a broad mix: retail, office, and entertainment space, plus apartment and a hotel.
In the hotel experience, you can walk to the theater, you can walk to a restaurant. The office building, you can walk to the restaurants or the movie theater. And the same with the apartments, same with retail. And it's rare to have some place where you can just walk across the street and walk that way.
After almost 3 years of construction, a new development for Celebration Point is a steel framework for Hotel Indigo.
Some of the other new hotels will be convenient to I-75 within the expanded Butler Plaza and near UF Health's new hospitals. The plan for a new fairgrounds could see it hosting concerts, track meets, equine events, banquets, and conferences. Insiders expect year-round use, attracting more overnight visitors to town.
There are over 1,000 rooms being planned or built, and without any major increase in demand, this fairgrounds will increase the demand of people coming into the area for events.
Like the fairgrounds, the growing retail centers expect to be popular destinations for visitors.
We're creating a special place of entertainment and retail and office, hotel, residential, someplace that we don't have here in Gainesville.
To attract visitors, it may also help the city of Gainesville trying to refresh the image. The old logo and slogan. Kara Spirito, WUFT News.
Thank you, Kara. President Trump is continuing his 12-day Asia trip in South Korea today.
WUFT's political anchor Grace King joins us now with what he's been discussing abroad.
Nicolette, Evan, President Trump is stepping away from his aggressive rhetoric toward North Korea, instead calling for negotiations with the North during his visit with South Korean leaders. NBC's Chris Jansen reports from Seoul.
Well, here in Seoul, President Trump has actually been sounding pretty optimistic about dealing with the North Korean nuclear threat, saying that a lot of progress is being made and calling on North Korea to make a deal.
I really believe that it makes sense for North Korea to come to the table and to make a deal that's good for the people of North Korea and the people of the world.
It's the kind of diplomatic language that South Korean President Moon, who has been pushing for diplomacy, was hoping for. None of the bellicose rhetoric we heard back home, none of the taunting of North Korea's Kim Jong-un or the threats against his country. But the real test will come with a speech before the South Korean General Assembly. White House officials say that he is going to call on countries to rally against the growing threat posed by a nuclear North Korea. And in fact, he has two critical meetings going forward. He will be meeting with Chinese President Xi when he goes to Beijing tomorrow. China, of course, a very important player in all of this, and he praised them today as being very helpful so far. And then in Vietnam, toward the end of the trip, he'll be meeting with Vladimir Putin. There's a lot of nervousness here. Will this diplomatic talk continue, or will he go back to talking about military options? All of that still ahead as the president continues his 12-day trip to Asia. Traveling with the president in Seoul, South Korea, I'm Chris Jansen for NBC News. Now back.
While in South Korea, President Trump noted an upcoming personal milestone, the first anniversary of his election. He also talked about gun laws in the aftermath of the Texas mass shooting. He wouldn't budge on gun control and instead pointed to the Good Samaritan who stepped in with his own gun. Back on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are divided about what steps need to be taken to prevent more mass shootings. Many Democrats are proposing stricter gun laws, but Speaker of the House Paul Ryan has a different idea.
How about enforcing the laws we got on the books? This man should not have gotten a gun. You know why? Because he was a domestic abuser. We have laws in the books that says if you're a domestic abuser, you're not supposed to own a gun.
Tomorrow, members of the group Moms Demand Action will be traveling to Tallahassee from across the state. They will demand stricter gun laws in the Sunshine State. Today is Election Day, and voters in Virginia are casting ballots in the nation's only competitive governor's race this year. This vote could be an early referendum on Trump's popularity ahead of the 2018 midterm elections. Democrat Ralph Northam, a pediatric neurologist and lieutenant governor, is running against Republican Ed Gillespie, a White House advisor to President George W. Bush and a multi-millionaire lobbyist. Most polls have shown a close contest, and both candidates have been helped by big names. Meanwhile, in north central Florida, High Springs is holding an election for one of its city commission seats. 4 candidates are in the running: Paul Arthur, Bob Barnas, Michael A. Kearney, and Nancy Levine Linkus. If you live in High Springs, you can vote at the High Springs Civic Center tonight until 8 p.m. Ivanka Trump is hitting the road to help with her father's call for tax reform. President Trump's daughter, who serves as one of his advisors, was in California Sunday and Monday to discuss the GOP tax reform plan. Ivanka was joined by Secretary of State Steve Mnuchin. The two say tax reform plan currently being considered by Congress is a win-win for Americans. The House Ways and Means Committee began reviewing the GOP tax plan yesterday.
Thank you, Grace. Earlier, Lee told us that tomorrow we may experience record high heat.
Yeah, and I can't say I'm excited for that. Lee, when are we going to feel some fall weather again?
I have good news. Check this out. This is a cold front that's on its way to north central Florida. It will arrive on Thursday, and it will drop our temperatures back down to normal fall weather for Florida. So if you're more of a summer person, enjoy today and tomorrow. Right now, temperatures are at 80 degrees in Gainesville, 82 in Lake City, and 83 in Ocala, much warmer than what's normal for this time of year. Tonight, dropping down to a low near 63 degrees right around 4 a.m., and some fog is possible as well across north central Florida. Those lows will stay in the low 60s, 61 in Lake City, 62 in Gainesville, 61 in Ocala. And again, there is fog possible mainly from 6 to 8 a.m. So if you're out driving to work before the 8 o'clock hour, and you're driving anywhere in this yellow area, do make sure to leave a few minutes before work and use those low beams because fog, patchy to dense fog, is possible. And then tomorrow, near record warmth for our Wednesday. I'm projecting a high of 85 degrees and our record is 86. So if you like the summer, enjoy tomorrow, go outside, enjoy it. And then if you like the fall, our cold front is on the way. Cooler temperatures will arrive on Thursday. We could also see some scattered showers on Thursday as well, but the chance for showers is slight. I'm only projecting a 20% chance. And then this weekend, a second frontal boundary will move through. The chance for spotty showers does come back again, although it's small, and our temperatures will still stay pleasant in the 70s. But for tomorrow, high temperatures, 85 in Gainesville, 84 in Lake City, 85 in Ocala. And remember, that record is 86. That was set back in 2003, so we'll see if we reach that record. But then that cold front will continue to move through Wednesday, passing through Georgia, and then crossing over our area on Thursday. So again, we could see some spotty activity, some scattered showers within our area, but those temperatures will start to drop. In fact, here in Gainesville, we won't reach the 80s on Thursday. We'll reach 75 in Lake City, 81 in Gainesville for our high on Thursday, 80 in Bronson. So we'll reach the 80s in areas in the more southern counties, in areas such as Ocala and Bronson, but 79 for areas such as Gainesville and Lake City. And then we also have our tropical storm Rena, but do not fret. As of 4 p.m., winds up to 45 miles per hour and pressure at 1,006 millibars, but it is no threat to the United States, just going to die off somewhere in the Atlantic, and that's what we like to see. The end of hurricane season is November 30th. So wrapping it up, near record heat tomorrow, and then on Thursday, that weak front will move through. We have the chance for a few scattered showers, but check out those temperatures. 79 on Thursday, temperatures back to normal at 75 on Friday, and we'll stay in the 70s all the way through Monday. Back to you.
Well, we'll look forward to those cooler temperatures. Thank you, Lee. Well, while it was a tough weekend in Gainesville for Gator fans, other college football fans might be receiving some good news.
The College Football Selection Committee will reveal the top 25 playoff rankings tonight. WUFT's Sydney Jones is here to tell us more.
That's right. Last week there was a lot of talk about Georgia being the #1 team. When we come back, I'll tell you about the top 4 projections and some big upsets over the weekend that could cause changes in the rankings. Stay tuned. Sports is up next. The second edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings come out tonight. Welcome back to sports. I'm Sydney Jones. The top 4 teams all won over the weekend, so tonight's reveal on the second set of rankings should be relatively the same at the top. Last week, the College Football Playoff Rankings had Georgia in first, followed by Alabama, with Notre Dame ranked third and Clemson fourth. However, the second tier of rankings should get a little shaken up. There should be some changes due to a pair of Big Ten shockers. Number 6 Ohio State was destroyed 55-24 by unranked Iowa, while 7th ranked Penn State also lost to Michigan State. On the other hand, Miami and Wisconsin still remain undefeated and can possibly move up in the rankings, as well as 5th ranked Oklahoma, who defeated Oklahoma State 62-52. This victory could result in Oklahoma jumping up in the rankings. The rankings can be seen on ESPN tonight, starting at 7. Florida's depth chart remains relatively the same as Florida Gators football team prepares for South Carolina. Interim head coach Randy Shannon announced that Malik Zaire will remain as the Gators starting quarterback.
Quarterback decision? Still Malik. Still Malik. He didn't do anything to hurt us. He did a nice job of getting the ball down the field, making some throws and doing some certain things. And, we just have to build on what he's done and just keep moving forward.
Zaire's start in last Saturday's loss against Missouri was his first start since the first 2 games of the 2015 season when he was at Notre Dame. Zaire ended up throwing for 158 yards against Missouri and had 1 interception, but also led scoring drives of 68, 56, and 68 yards, with all the drives resulting in Eddie Pinheiro field goals. Going into Week 10 of the NFL regular season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be without quarterback Jameis Winston and wide receiver Mike Evans. With this duo out, the Bucs will lose 42% of their scoring through the air. Winston will miss at least 2 weeks to rest his injured throwing shoulder. The Bucs decided to shut down Winston after he underwent an MRI yesterday. He was taken out of the game on Sunday against the Saints when he took a hard hit to his right shoulder after being sacked. And during his time on the sidelines of the game, Winston initiated a debacle between Mike Evans and New Orleans Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. Winston pushed Lattimore in the back of his helmet, resulting in Lattimore turning around and shoving Winston in the chest. Mike Evans then came bolting across the field to blindside Lattimore with a hit from behind. Evans then pounced on Lattimore when he hit to the ground. The Bucs receiver was flagged for 15 yards and the NFL suspended him for 1 game. According to ESPN, Evans is planning on appealing the suspension. The Florida Gator soccer team gathered at the Limerick Athletic Center last night to watch the 64-team NCAA championship bracket unveil. It was announced that Florida will play host to South Alabama this Friday for NCAA first-round action. The SEC led the nation with an all-time high 9 teams receiving bids for NCAA tournament play. As you can see, South Carolina leads a group of the 4 ranked SEC teams that make the field. Also making it from the SEC are Auburn, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. South Carolina is one of the top 4 teams in the country, ranked at number 3. Stanford is number 1 with an 18-1 record, followed by North Carolina at number 2 and Duke at number 4.
Thank you, Sydney. And before we end the show, let's get a live look outside of Gainesville tonight. This view is on the back towards campus from the top of the Standard Building. Of course, the sun is now setting about this time after the clock change on Sunday, so it looks pretty dark out there. And before we go, we'll get one last check on the weather with Lee.
With that sun setting, those temperatures are falling. We'll be in the mid-70s already by 6 p.m., 70 by 8 p.m. So if you're heading out to dinner, dress for the mid-70s. Then we're dropping down to the low 60s right around 4 a.m. Fog is possible tomorrow, so give yourself a few extra minutes while driving to work if you are driving in any of these areas shaded yellow. And then tomorrow, near record heat with a high of 85 in Gainesville. The record is 86. Back to you.
Thanks, Lee. Our Spanish headlines are coming up just before 6, right between global newscasts from England and Germany.
And our news team will bring you another show tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Have a good night.